Hello, good morning. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our Natural Health News live show, where we're going to talk about the coronavirus and update internationally and nationally. We have a lot of news to share and go over today. And for all of you on YouTube, the live chat box is on. And we also have now a new function on Instagram. Instagram show is live as well. You can add badges to your name, and that is a fantastic way, like super chats, to support our channel here as I deliver this fantastic, informative, free information to all of you. So today we're going to talk about coronavirus news. I'm going to dig into what's going on in the UK and really what the new mutation means potentially for international and domestic affairs regarding this virus. But also, most importantly, I want to share tips and some resources, tools, and critical techniques for you all to be safe and protect yourselves during this holiday season. In the event that you are engaging with family and friends, it is really critical now more than ever that we be as safe as we can. So I am going to share some very powerful information, and this is all driven by facts and data and research to date regarding this virus. So let's dig into what's going on in the news. We have just explosive growth here in the United States. We have 17.9 million cases, and we are just exponentially the core carrier of cases. U.S. has 272,912 new cases as of yesterday alone. We had over 2,096 in total fatalities, and that now puts us at 320,595 American lives lost due to COVID. We currently have 9.7 active COVID cases, so that is just under 10 million individuals who have coronavirus are still testing positive and might be in care of hospitals, ICUs, and convalescing at home. Now, just to put it in perspective, yesterday we had a fairly large day in our averages. We've seen some days over 300,000 cases, new cases on a daily basis. The next largest country underneath the United States in terms of overall coronavirus cases is India. In India, just in perspective, had a total of 24,000 new cases. That's opposing 272,912, which is where we're at. And also, kind of go down the line, Brazil had 25,000 new cases yesterday. Russia had 29,000 new cases, and change. So I'm just rounding down or rounding up as appropriate. The UK posted just under 36,000 new cases yesterday. So it was 35,928 new cases yesterday. And I want to talk to you all about what's going on in the UK. They have imposed new lockdowns, basically for much of the southeastern part of the United Kingdom, London, and an assortment of clustered areas. They have a lockdown that will prohibit and limit the extent of Christmas celebrations and even New Year celebrations. Part of this is driven by a new variant, and I want to dig into this because there's a lot of fear oriented with regard to this new strain, and I want to break down what that really means. So first of all, we don't have any experimental data. I don't have any reporting from any medical journals or true assessment of the genetic makeup of this particular new mutation. But basically, what has happened is there has been modeling and there are projections with regard to a higher instant of seeing this new lineage. And so I want to be really distinctive here. The fear of like, oh my gosh, we have an out of control strain. Basically, what's happened is, as viruses do, the nature of a virus is to mutate and to change and evolve as it impacts the host, and it's all about survival. And a lot of times the mutation will affect different aspects of the virus and its ability to be effective in infecting the host. And that's part of that replication process. It's how they mutate and grow. Oh, Instagram is buffering. Okay. So one of the things that we've seen is that this particular type of new version, altered, evolved, I'll say evolution. It's a viral evolution. And basically, it's an evolution within the lineage. And so does that mean that this is a brand new virus? No. But what they have seen is that this is a lot of times viruses mutate and multiple mutations occur. That has happened in this particular strain. But what they've seen is that the particular aspect of mutation is the receptor bonding mechanism, which is the protein spike, has evolved and it's mutated a bit. So does that necessarily mean this will be and the vaccines will be ill-effective on that? Not necessarily. Again, these are projections. And the UK is taking extensive precautions based on the projections of this new lineage. They have seen this particular lineage. It has been evidenced in Denmark, the Netherlands, as well as Australia. I have no reporting on if we are seeing that here in the United States. It could very well make sense in terms of the US. Oh gosh, sorry, Instagram. As far as the US in terms of its mutation and evolution. But what has happened is the UK is now being fully isolated from all of Europe. They have locked down travel. So the borders have locked down to everybody in the UK. Even Ireland has locked its borders. Europe, France, Germany, Italy, Argentina, Chile, India, Canada, Israel. There have been a lot of lockdowns. And unfortunately for the UK, they're an island country. And a lot of times when you're on an island, I lived on an island in Japan, everything that you can't grow or access has to be imported in. Well, they have had a 48-hour freight ban, and that is going to be interesting as the UK is also approaching the Brexit. And so there are all these underlying aspects of complete freaking out in the UK. But I just want to caution everybody from freaking out. I want to highlight specifically what we know right now that obviously will be evolving. We need to get experimental research and information about, are we seeing any RNA mutations? As far as I've read, I haven't seen any indications that has occurred. So with that being said, the nature of this particular, the protein, the receptor bonding mechanism, that's the spike. So, coronavirus is very much involved with the spikes, and that's corona is crown. That's why it's called coronavirus. And so the spikes are protein. In orientation, they are what allows the virus to implant in a mucosal membrane. It basically implants and stays stagnant in this space enough for the DNA, the genetics, the RNA to be implanted into the host, and then the cell replication occurs and grows. Well, this change in the receptor bonding mechanism, that is what is making this particular evolution 70% more transmissible. And that's the nature of today's topic. I really want to dig into, I've been alarmed in the last week of our live shows. The comments from a lot of folks on YouTube and Instagram is that they've been infected. They're not quite sure how. They think maybe a loved one, a child, but somebody in their close sphere has been affected, and they have even employed all the different measures to be safe, and yet they've still encountered the virus in their lives. It becomes critical that we lower the transmissibility opportunity of this virus, because viruses are opportunistic, and becomes really critical that we lock down our own transmissible points. And those are our eyes, our nose, and our mouth. And so we'll talk a lot about that in the latter part of today's show, but I want to highlight a whole bunch of news. Okay, so that's the big thing in Europe. The other thing in Europe is the mink. We got to go back to the mink. In Denmark, they had a massive cull, which is a total extermination of the mink population due to the virus impacting the mink in this really unique way, and it mutates. Now, here's the other question I don't know the answer to. I don't know if that mink mutation is the same as what they're seeing in the UK. I don't know. which is interesting. Denmark and the Netherlands has that particular mutation. So that's going to be the question mark. We're going to wait and see what science delivers in terms of additional research. Could be speculation. It could very well be just the normal routine of a virus mutating. But at any rate, the Denmark officials had this very hasty and what is now coming to light, a very hasty and improper health-wise extermination, culling of their entire mink population. That Denmark is very much a mink trading population, has been forever, but they had a total of 15.4 million mink. 4 million right now are what is the focus. And basically what's happened is in the extermination of the mink, 4 million were buried in this one particular area. And now it's become clear that that could pose a risk to the general population in that it is considered a pollutant risk. And so they now have imposed a 6-month mark where as soon as 6 months pass, which I think the 1st of May is when that lifts, since the culling of this population, they are going to dig up the 4 million mink that are decomposing right now, and they're going to incinerate them. And that gives the 6-month time frame that they feel comfortable that that's enough time that they're not contagious. And then they're going to incinerate them and dispose in a, it was called like a work-related exposal point. So I think that's very interesting. I don't know what has happened here in the US, but we have culled our mink populations in certain states. I mentioned that. I'm mentioning that as I learn more about it, but Oregon and Wisconsin and Wyoming. Wyoming, I reported last week, we have the first wild mink that was captured near a mink farm that has that new mutation. Again, I don't know the link between that and the UK. By the way, this is my Making Spirits Bright mug. I'm drinking a protein shake this morning. So cheers to all of you. I hope you all have a wonderful holiday. And for some reason, Instagram is doing a little buffering. Gabriel is, it's a school, we're off school this week and next week and part of the week after. So today will be the last of our live shows until the new year, until after the new year. So I want to dig into some things going on here in the US. California is in major growth phase. Just 2 weeks ago, California hit and set records at 30,000 new cases. Fast forward to today, and they have posted yesterday's new case total in one day was 62,140 new positive cases. Just again, to put that in perspective, the UK, which is employing a ton of lockdowns and is basically shutting down Christmas and Kwanzaa and the New Year because of their situation, they are posting just under 36,000 new cases on a daily basis. California's blown that out. And so that is California's status. They have had just 227 fatalities yesterday. We will see the fatalities increase with these types of numbers. California also seen Apple stores are fully closing during this time, and the Rose Bowl has made arrangements. They will have the Rose Bowl hosted at the AT&T Stadium in Texas. So that is big news in California. Texas has posted 19,000, just over 19,300, 19,313 new positive cases. They had 340 new fatalities. Ohio has been in growth mode. Ohio has surpassed Georgia. They now are in the number 6 spot in terms of most, the highest quantity of COVID cases. And Ohio right now is at 622,000 new cases. They have posted over 150,000 new cases in 2 weeks. That's massive spread. Tennessee also is showing a lot of movement. They had 16,000 new cases yesterday. In New York City, there was a club apparently that was hosting parties, and they shut down this club that was operating illegally. I had found that there were 160 party goers at this club. And the U.S., think I announced 2 weeks ago, they are employing contact tracing for all international travelers. So folks that are coming in, they're doing contact tracing within their sphere. That's also to limit any of the potential new mutations also for the US. Big news here in the US, the Congress has reached possible stimulus bill consensus, which is really big. What that means for people, it's a potentially $600 per person stimulus check. Total for family of 4 would be $2,400. And there are going to be additional federal unemployment benefits of $300 on a weekly basis. This is really big in this, really critical. A lot of companies were lobbying for this bill to exclude liability. So let's say a Purdue, that chicken company, the manufacturing company that was taking bets on, bets on the employees getting sick, and like Amazon and all these other companies that, have massive workforces and might not truly be adhering to all of the COVID procedures. The companies were trying to get out of being held liable for safety measures, supplying materials and supplies. That's across the board, from medical to industrial to all industries, small and large businesses. So there is no liability protection for businesses, which is good for us consumers, because now if you go to your grocery store and they are allowing people in who are not wearing masks or appropriately, employing social distancing and adhering to the policies, either customers or employees, and something happens, there's liability. And so hopefully we will see this play out where companies take this more seriously in terms of their engagement with their customers and their employees. The other thing that has happened, the CDC issued some additional guidelines about Pfizer and the reactions that we've seen. I just want to also put this in perspective. This has gotten a lot of media and airtime from people in the social influencing world, and a lot of them are just misinformed and completely clueless about the nature of this. So I want to kind of shed some light on this. The amount of allergic reactions that we have seen thus far in the US has been a total of 5 individuals, 2 in Alaska, and then we've seen 2, I think, in Indiana or Illinois, and then 1 in another state. And so we have a total of 5 folks that have had allergic reactions of varying forms, but within the time frame of observation, they have demonstrated that they might need an EpiPen, or they might need Benadryl, or having some sort of reaction to one of the ingredients inside the medication or inside the vaccine. I've highlighted the vaccine does not contain, and if you're curious about that, watch a week ago, I broke down what was in Pfizer's the vaccine. I broke it down by MCGs, what all is in it, the 4 lipids, what type of lipids, there's sucrose, all that good stuff. And then also Moderna on Friday, I highlighted what the ingredients are. It's really important to know that there are no preservatives in either of these 2 vaccines. And I know that's a big concern for a lot of the folks that are anti-vax or really concerned about preservative exposure. So it does lead us in the scientific world to wonder what's going on. What are these people reacting to? And potentially it could very well be their hyperimmune state reacting to this particular vaccine. But at any rate, this is the percentage of folks in thus far that have been vaccinated. We have a total, as of yesterday, 556,208 vaccines administered. So it's all, first dose. So just over 500,000 individuals, mostly healthcare workers and some nursing home residents, have received the vaccine. 5 of the 556,208 have had an adverse reaction. That is a 0.0089% of the individuals have had a reaction. That is well within the range of a normal type of reaction. That's actually in tune with reactions that we see with over-the-counter medication. So just to put out some perspective, that this is not a reason to not to stay away from getting the vaccine. It's not a reason to say we need to halt the trial that we still have these 2 companies within. But there's continuing to be information that will be determined as we see potentially more cases arise, and figure out what's going on. It could very well be a lipid. They might be allergic to the cholesterol that's in it, or the PEG. It's very, very minuscule, but there's a possibility that somebody has a reaction. Now, with that, the CDC released on Saturday some additional guidelines in terms of folks who have allergies. And I also really want to clarify that, we have also other countries in the world that are administering this vaccine. Shoot, Instagram's buffering. Hold on, Instagram. I'm going to go to non-Wi-Fi. Hold on. I have to change the phone setting. Let's see. No Wi-Fi. Let me go back. Okay, let's see. Hopefully Instagram is going to reconnect. Okay, I've changed my Wi-Fi setting. Okay. Okay, so one of the things that's really critical, there's a distinction. The CDC versus the British, I can't remember the name of I'm trying to see if I've got that, the British medical regulator. There have been two different guidelines based on the reactions. The UK saw 4 individuals react to that, where we've had 5 here in the US. So essentially, the CDC has said anybody who has had a severe reaction, so the 5 that have had a severe reaction to the vaccine, should not get the second dose. And severe reaction is defined as needing an EpiPen or treatment in a hospital. So you need epinephrine, which is usually there's a throat closing kind of immediate reaction. Now, people who have had a severe allergic reaction to any ingredient in the vaccine should also avoid the vaccine formulation because of that ingredient. Now, that's the one challenge here is how do you know if you've had a reaction? They're very, very distinctive lipids that are delivering the nanoparticle. We have a few salts and we have sucrose. So it's one of those things, most people also don't know what the ingredients are. So there might be some need to consult your clinician or your medical care provider. They have said that folks with histories of severe allergic reactions to vaccines should talk to their doctors, and that people who have severe allergies to food, pets, latex, or environmental conditions, as well as people who have allergies to oral medication or any type of family history of severe allergic reactions can still be vaccinated, that they don't see that as being a reason to avoid the vaccine. Now, Britain, okay, so the difference in the UK, the Britain's medical regulator has said that anybody with any type of history of anaphylaxis, or any type of severe reaction to a medicine or food should not take the vaccine. So there's distinctions. We have a little bit of a looser CDC guideline than what the British medical regulator has said. But at the end of the day, it's still, some guidance additionally. But again, I just want to highlight 0.0089% have had a reaction. That is, it's so minor, so minor. Now, that doesn't offset or minimize the reaction. It's severe. We need to figure out what they're reacting to and possibly what's going on with their own immune response that they're having that reaction. Okay. Hey, Jenny from the block. I see you're on. Good morning and happy holidays. Okay. So here's the other thing. There is additional guidance that came out last week about ventilation in buildings from the CDC. Some details here about ventilation in buildings, literally very nondescript. So they talk a little bit about lowering exposure and having a layered approach. And this is really critical. You guys know I've been talking about air ventilation from the get-go. I've been talking about masking and all these other aspects. But basically, they talk a little bit about, specific minimizing the amount of occupants inside, having air ventilation, opening windows, airflow in occupied spaces. And then they dig into the different HVACs and things like that. Small particles are not always removed from the air, but we see large particles that are. They break down, cubic metric feet based on, air quality and the whole distribution process of filtration efficiency. But essentially what this looks at is we need greater air quality and we need more efficient, more effective air filtration to limit the spread indoors. This leads me to talk about today's topic, but I'm not there yet. I have a few more bits of news that I want to share. Okay, so stay tuned. We'll be getting to all the different ways to protect your body. So with regard to the vaccine, Moderna, since our Friday show, Moderna did get the FDA approval for emergency use authorization. They are not fully approved vaccine. So that's just, I want you guys to know there is a distinction. And so the FDA approved it after that independent body on Thursday met. The CDC also reviewed it and put out some additional guidelines. The CDC was very specific about the different layers of professionals who will be getting this vaccine. So once, the healthcare professionals, nursing home residents, and providers, care providers get it, then the next phase would be individuals 75 and older and frontline essential workers. The third layer of phase, they call it 1C, would be individuals from the age of 65 to 74 and 16 to 64 that are in a high-risk category, as well as any other essential workers. Now, there is also a third vaccine that will probably be coming up on the radar for the FDA in January, probably the second or third week of January. It's a Johnson & Johnson Janssen vaccine. And by our next live show in the new year, I'll report more details about that vaccine. But we should have 3 that are kicking. Moderna, with that approval, shipments started going out Sunday. Today, they are being distributed, and I guarantee we'll probably see folks getting the vaccine as early as tomorrow in the arms, if not later today, kind of depending. So Moderna, by the way, is based up in Cambridge. I believe all the production is up in that area as well. Now, here's kind of an interesting point. So the other thing that happened Friday, and I had highlighted it to you guys, that there was all this discussion with the folks in charge of Operation Warp Speed. That's the federal government's focus on getting the vaccine out there and getting us over this massive community spread. There's been disputes and differing information about how the quantity of vaccines that we actually had available. My reporting to all of you was partly information about the fact that the reactive agent is necessary to create the vaccine. Part of our use of the reactive agent has been in testing. With the quantity of people that we have testing, we had 272,912 new cases yesterday. We are testing upwards of 750,000 citizens on a daily basis, sometimes more, sometimes a little less. But what's happening is that reactive agent, there's only a certain amount of that. And we are seeing more reactive agent going to the testing versus going into the vaccine production. So that was one thing I highlighted, that could very well be that discrepancy that, the companies even were reporting as things were getting closer. So they were approaching the FDA emergency use authorization, the panels, even after Pfizer and now with Moderna, just some recalculating of our expectations. And they were very much lower than what the government was reporting. So there's this big discrepancy. And, it left a lot of us wondering, what is going on? Well, now we know. On Friday, the head of Operation Warp Speed, the immunization process, he came out and said, basically, he screwed up. The government screwed up. They apparently read a document incorrectly, is what he's saying. And basically, they did not realize that they thought they had 7.3 million vaccines available, and it really is 4.3 million. major fumble. And the challenge here is that their communication for months leading up to the FDA emergency use authorization was to all these governors and their health departments and all the people that are part of this, hospital systems, the CVSs, the Walgreens, staffing levels, all these things were all based on the higher number. And even then, some of the numbers that they were reporting, the 7.3, it was still leaving, California and other states, actually a lot of them, Alabama, a lot of states were 20, 30, 40% less than what they were anticipating, what they needed. Well, now it's even dropped lower than that. And these governors are scrambling. And the challenge here is, for instance, we also have a situation where we're already seeing a meltdown in the distribution process. So this is very exciting. I'm excited to say we are tracking this. The CDC actually has a tracking mechanism on their website. So it's updating regularly. It updated yesterday, like around 1 p.m. Thus far, we've had 2.8 million vaccines distributed. So they've left the plants and they're traveling, they're en route, they're now in freezers, in hospitals, and they're at the centers where they need to be. So, some are en route. We had that crazy snowfall that happened, so there are possible delays there, but only 556 have been administered. 556,000 have been administered. There's a gap. There's a major gap of over 2.3 million, 2.3 million vaccines that have not yet gotten into humans. And so this is definitely, we're going to monitor this more than likely. If they make a flub, Instagram. I gotta get that back. Okay. If they flub details about quantities, that's pretty straightforward. I can't even imagine how they're going to flub distribution, but that's me being a cynic. And I'm hoping they prove us all wrong, but that is kind of where they are with that. So just FYI, everybody. Now, the other thing that is kind of a good thing to report, the flu virus is actually down. The numbers of flu cases have decreased. And that is also because we're all being smart in washing our hands, staying away, we're social distancing, we're wearing masks. And also schools have been, taking precautions and masking kids and all that stuff. So that is a positive to all of this, trying to stay positive with everything. But I really want to talk about today. So let me do my little marker. Today, I want to talk to you about different ways to protect yourself, your body, and the main points of potential exposure. Now, this also is applicable for any of you who live internationally, especially those of you in the UK. I have a lot of international European followers, and this really becomes critical, especially with this mutated new lineage of viral the viral mutation. We know the implantation, the protein spike, and it could very well be that we maybe are seeing a doubling of the protein spikes. I don't know, but whatever the mechanism, the method, the receptor bonding method, the little protein spike, that's what we've seen mutated in the UK strain. And they say strain, it really isn't a strain, but that's the term they're using. And that also has got people freaked out. But at any rate, a lot of you are wearing your masks and you're staying socially distant. I don't know how many of you are wearing your mask when you're out walking your dogs. I don't know how many of you are out wearing your mask if you're going to the park or walking in the woods. Especially, populated areas where, like we have walking trails within a few miles of our house. And a lot of folks I've seen in just our own exposure point are being lax in some of these areas. The other area that I think we need to really concentrate on are our eyes. So you're wearing a mask and, there are now antimicrobial masks like our hemp mask that we have in Fullscript, which, by the way, you can grab that Ananda Health. If you go into Fullscript, type face mask. It's the only one that's out there. It's 2 layers. It has a copper polymer lining. So the outer part is sewn with copper. Copper is antimicrobial, antiviral, very, very much a protectant. And then the inside is black hemp. And again, that's also good for folks that are having challenges with breathing. And also, I've been wearing it. I posted it on Instagram yesterday on my feed. It's really comfortable. It's very soft, but it also gives a seal, and it seals all the way around without the discomfort and the, kind of pressing on the nose. I really like that design. And they have three styles or 3 sizes. So I wear the small, and I've even put Gabriel in the small. So the large, I think Brian was wearing the large one time. So it fit his long, big face. So let's talk about the eyes, because this is where I really feel like we need to be cognizant of protecting our eyes. In the nature of this virus, and one of the things that makes it so contagious, and that's also evidence, the CDC in this report, I'll post this for you guys. They really dig into, the concentration of viral particles. We have large and small particles. They actually reference a lot of research I've highlighted to you guys about the air particulates and we have different sizes of air particulates. There's air particulates that kind of are in a plumy like situation where it's almost like cigarette smoke, where it just kind of lingers and you can see it and you can even smell it, from blocks away. Like I'm always tuned in. I hate cigarette smoke and I can smell it. Like somebody like 4 doors down smoking, I know it. That is how these particulates are. And so you don't necessarily have to be in a 6-foot distance to have been exposed to somebody's viral, enhanced, contagious particulates. And when you're wearing a mask, you're protecting your nose and your mouth, but we're not protecting our eyes. And I regret seeing a lot of folks on our live show who have said, I don't know how I got it. And my question is, are you protecting your eyes? Because I really feel like that's the point of vulnerability, that if you are not protecting your eyes with an eye shield or glasses, sunglasses, oops, somebody's calling me, sunglasses or any type of, wraparound, goggles, they don't, when you're out and about, they don't have to necessarily be in like a total seal. If you're running in to get milk and eggs, you still do want to protect your eyes, but it doesn't have to be a full lockdown. But if you are in like a work setting, yes, you should have a much greater point of protection for your eyes. So, extended period of time in a work setting, if you are a frontline worker, the hospital systems have these ventilator, respirator, 3M now things. They've got air packs they're wearing, and they have eye protection, glasses and face shields that people are wearing. And we need to model ourselves and our behaviors after that method and approach, because this is such a contagious virus. And especially if you are in the UK, and you happen to not be in one of these major lockdowns. Like I have some friends that live over there. One's in London, one's up in Wales and Scotland. She's way up there. And, they're in lockdown, but there's still some activities that they can do that might put them at risk, even in their backyard. So it just becomes really necessary that we are more cognizant of our eyewear. I have listed down below some places that have inexpensive, there's a discount. Actually, one of the brands, I have a 10% discount code. When you click the link, that discount code, it gives you 10% off of their disposable masks, but they also have face shields, and they have face shields for kids as well. And that's another point. We really also need to talk about how are we protecting kids' eyes? Because we know just the nature of children's immune system, they have flexible immunity where everything's novel to them as their immune system is building up. So they have a much better mechanism to be mobile. And I was interviewed recently for a major, I think it was an online magazine. I can't remember. I've had quite a few different interviews. But the interview was specifically, what was it called? It was, I don't know. I'll post it to YouTube after. It's published, it's out there. But my communication was that kids, their immune system is responsive. But we also have some evidence that some of the vaccines, the non-viral vaccines, actually have a cross-protective mechanism. But it still doesn't necessarily mean that they can't be contagious. So even though a child might get exposed, the likelihood their immune system will work effectively, and they may or may not even show symptoms. But it doesn't necessarily mean that they can't spread this to their 40-year-old parent or their 65, 70-year-old grandparent or a sibling that might be a teenager that's more susceptible. So that becomes really critical. We think about covering the children's eyes as well, in play dates and things like that. So, even still, the CDC has not gone as far as saying covering your eyes. I'm going to continue to recommend that for all of you. I think it is a way that we guard against, facilities. I know folks are going out to restaurants. I see it on my Facebook feed and Instagram feed all the time, and I just cringe-worthy for me, because I just think that we know too much already. Indoor dining, even outdoor dining, 5 minutes is the point of potential transmission point, that you are going to be exposed to enough viral particulates that if anybody in that zone is actively contagious, knowingly or unknowingly, and I hate saying knowingly because we do have those folks that just don't care, that puts you at risk. 5 minutes, that's it. 5 minutes. And that is a shorter period of time than what the guidelines are, 15 minutes, 20 minutes of close contact, 5 minutes. It just takes one major point of exposure, and the eyes tend to be that point. So, and also, some of the lockdowns, people are just celebrating amongst themselves. We have some neighbors that are in pods, they just kind of their kids play together and they're kind of in their zone. So they're going to gather. But even still, I don't see them wearing masks and taking precautions. So, there's that risk as well. Okay, so I hope that was helpful. Comment down below. Let me know. I'm curious. How many of you wear masks? Or not masks. How many of you are protecting your eyes? In Brooklyn, Genesis said, I read Bell's palsy is something being watched. It's everything's being watched, but what they saw, and I mentioned this last week in the research, they had 4 cases. Let's see, it's in here. They had 4 cases of Bell's palsy. Let me go. See this, I've finished, I'm now going through, I'm on my 3rd book. As far as Bell's palsy, so Pfizer had 4 people that had Bell's palsy, 3 that had the vaccine, 1 that was in placebo. So the question is whether there was any link to that. Bell's palsy is not overly common, but I see it a lot in cases, and usually like 30 to 40-year-olds are the ones that are tending to be more exposed to that. It's part of it, but it's not a major concern. The more concern, the degree of concern, I want to know what's going on with some of these reactions. I want to know specifically, is it one of the lipids that they're responding to, or is this a hyperimmune response? And I think, this is where, when we get evidential, experimental information about it, I think we will see probably also some other connections. It's possible that, they're going to go through these surveys and like, what other things are you allergic to? And more than likely, there will be other points. So again, that'll all harken back to an immune response, an immune system that is dysregulated. And when we talk about immune responses, I don't have it in front of me. Oh, I do. I moved it the other day. There are a lot of things that you can do for your immune system. Colostrum therapy is one of the most impactful, just overall rebuilding and repopulating and rebalancing, modulating your immune system. And that again goes back to you want to take active measures to support your immune health. And it's not always about boosting, but it's about regulating and modulating. That becomes really critical. So I do see, a lot of people are wearing, you got sunglasses. Yeah, the fogging, definitely. I find that on the kind of barrier and the type of mask will be affecting the fogging. And there is some stuff that you can put on the inside for anti-fog. And Epiphany Insight, eyes equal mucous membranes. Yes, every mucous membrane is susceptible to this virus. And oh, by the way, happy winter solstice, everybody. This is a very exciting day, lots of energy. We have a cloudy day, which means we probably won't be able to see the stars. But if you are in a point where you can go outside, you have a telescope, break that baby out, and you will get to see Jupiter and Saturn and apparently the 4 stars out there. It's the northern star is apparently visible and hasn't been since 1226. AD. That's craziness. So if you do see it, grab a picture for us. We're really bummed. Brian has this awesome telescope. We won't be able to see it. Okay, Phyllis, I'm an esthetician. I double mask and wear face shield at work as well as wear eyeglasses. Yeah, that is critical. Double protection for sure. I'm not seeing patients in clinic for a multitude of reasons. If I were, I would have sealed eyewear and a mask, and I'd have my filtration process going on. I'd have my at-home UV filtration process. And definitely, Phyllis, if you have the ability, I would bring in your own plug-in portable filter, like the one that we have here from EnviroCleanse. I have, I think, links down below for that. That would be great. Andre is an LMT. I use a face shield when in the community kitchen where I volunteer. Yeah, absolutely. Face shields, just absolutely critical. Does it, lock out everything? No, but head on, if you're walking into a viral particulate plume, and that's how we need to think about that. Like, it's not something we really register. We can't see it. And that's really hard when we can't see things. People don't really have that conceptual process. But when you're walking through a viral particulate plume, which is what it is, and somebody at your grocery store or community kitchen or work has not been masking, or they take their mask off, they cough, they're, even laughing, breathing, we still have particulates that do come out of masks at a lower rate. There's exposure, and we just have got to get, we need to get control of that. Yes, Sharon, Bethlehem Star. I don't know what I said. Did I say the Northern Star? Yeah, Star of Bethlehem. Will be visible. Very exciting. Hey, Tamara. Good morning. Healthy Whole Live. Hey there. I see some familiar faces. Happy holidays, everybody. Okay, so let's see. Oh no, the plume. Yeah, Corey, the plume. So hardware stores are a good resource for wraparound safety glasses. Yes, Greg is right. Before, they were initially the place where you could get the N95 masks and some of the respirators, until people caught on that Home Depot was like the source. But totally, I mean, Brian's been doing all this woodworking, which is why I'm taking this week off and part of next week. We are in full on, like, as soon as I'm done, I have to go clear out space. We are tearing up our carpet upstairs, and we are installing on our own. We're doing DIY. We're putting in wood floor. It's really pretty. It's like this, I think, oak color. I don't know if it's real wood. I don't know the details on that, but we're going to pick it up. And Brian is putting in the wood flooring in. First, we're doing the closet, the new closet that we made. Our closet install happens on the 28th. So next Monday, we're going to have people in here. And that's like another point. Like, they, we've already clarified they're going to wear eyewear, they're wearing masks. It's going to be, warded off. We're going to have our air filters, all that stuff. My windows are going to be open. But our upstairs closet, so we had to do all this like renovating because of the kitchen flood that we had in the spring. We still haven't done the renovation downstairs, but we ended up deciding that we were going to expand the kitchen. And so we moved the laundry room that was off the side. We moved it up to our master closet, and then we had to create a new master closet. So that's all happening this next week. But at any rate, Brian's doing all this woodworking. We have all these saws. He built like his own saw table thing. I don't know. He's really getting into it. We've gifted everybody these really cool wood pieces. Like, there's this place where you can get really, really cool wood. So he has been wearing, we have a ton of these glasses. So we put those on when, I think the only exposure we've had more recently has been getting our Christmas tree. And even then I've been frustrated that, like, what are these people doing? They think they're outside and they're totally safe. And like, they have to mask up and they need to wear glasses. And honestly, that's where the eye protection is more about your protection. And, the plastic and the lenses on eyewear, it is definitely about protecting you from particulate plumes and the idiocracy of people who think this is a hoax and not that big of a deal, and are just walking around not adhering to recommendations for safety. So Oh, you love my outfit. Yeah. So this is a jumpsuit. I'll share my jumpsuit with you. So it's a full jumpsuit. I wore it on and it's got pockets and it doesn't have legs. So it's got like a little thing. And I'm wearing, I'll share with you guys, I'm in full holiday spirit today. I'm wearing the cute little, what are these holiday slippers I got from Aldi last year. And it says, oh dear. Oh dear. How cute is that? So I won't be wearing this all day, but it's fun. And I got my little earrings. I have a little boy and little girl Gingerbread. And the boy, he's got a little bite taken out of his head. How cute is that? I got these from TJ Maxx last year. And one of my hauls, I think I shared the haul with you guys last year. So, but yeah, so eye protection is critical. And, this week now, more than ever is the week to set up your Shipt or your Instacart accounts so that in the event, like, I'm going to be baking also later today. I've got a whole bunch of pecan pies that I'm going to make. I make this really awesome pecan pie. And then we're going to do some sugar cookies. I don't know. I have lots of baking to do. But, in the event that like you run out of sugar or you run out of, an ingredient, instead of running to the store, order up a Shipt account. And, it's just one of those things. You just want to limit your exposure, because we also know too, this is a holiday time. And Brian and I took Gabriel up to see this Christmas tree display where you stay in your car. It's this 40-foot tree and it was set to music. And so you turn on the radio station to the music that is set. It's really cute. They had like the purple hippopotamus dancing on this tree. And then they had all these it was really pretty. I posted on Instagram the kind of boomerang of it. But we were in our car, but we grabbed food to go. And so we sat there eating our dinner. And one of the things that I noticed as we're sitting there waiting for our food to get delivered, there were people that were walking into restaurants not masked. And just, it just takes a little bit. And so you can have somebody that runs into like a convenience store. Here in the area where I live in Roswell, Georgia. One of the things that we have seen is that some of the local convenience stores are really not adhering to any type of safety procedures. We've even had Roswell police show up refusing to wear masks and being confronted by customers and then videoed and posted on social media because they're refusing to be safe. It got them in a little bit of trouble too. But those are where you might go and grab butter, creamer, all those little things. So make sure you've got enough of your stockpile of things that you need for the holiday. Coffee, toilet paper, paper towels, all those things that are essential for a lot of the holidays. And, just make sure you're covering yourself. And yeah, so Epiphany Insight, yeah, Roswell police. And they even caught they were being so bold. And the one guy was just being a total jerk. And their name, they've got their identifying, it's just crazy. No masks. It's just insane. Hey, Whitney, happy holidays. Can I share yes. So the pecan pie, it is not mine, but it is a family recipe. And it is as clean as it can go. So no cornstarch or any of that stuff. It is clean. And the trick is that we chop up our pecans. People here call them pecans, but I call them pecans. And it's really wonderful. And if you want to go lower sugar, I have also done it where we have brown and I use a turbino or coconut sugar. You can cut that in half and it still is wonderful. So I will definitely share that. I know at some point, I've been thinking about this, friends. I am thinking that in the new year of 2022, that I might host an event. There is this amazing kind of I don't want to say wilderness retreat, but it is this beautiful setting for wellness that exists here just south of Atlanta. And I've been thinking of having that be maybe our first kind of wellness retreat, if you will, where we could all gather And at that point, we will all be safe. And so stay tuned. Atlanta is a really good airport to get to anyway. I know a lot of people, sometimes just one connection. So if that's something you guys might be interested in, let me know. We would probably have like a 3-day retreat, speakers and conference workshops and things like that. But it would be awesome to get together. Curly Coils, you bought their Sovereign Lab or Sovereign Colostrum. Should I start small dose to die off? So this is the one thing, depending on what's going on in your system with colostrum, you know, the net impact with the colostrum, it should be limited. You shouldn't see a massive die off, but if you are so overwhelmed digestively, I always recommend to limit a die off is to get to focus on the what is it called? I'm racking my brain. Sorry, I was up late last night. Biofilm. So I would reduce the biofilm and go into full script and type in search biofilm. And there are 3 biofilm products. The first one, I can't remember the name of it, but it is by a company. It's got red writing on the bottom. That would be the product I would buy. And I would utilize that, maybe do like 2 or 3 days of that and then add the colostrum. Oh, thanks, Lori likes my earrings. Aren't they cute? Little boy and girl. And the little boy, somebody ate his part of his head. So actually, I have to tell you guys, I'd been hearing from all these moms on Instagram about how awesome the little gingerbread cup topper cookies were. And they're these like little gingerbread cookies that have like a little insert or a little opening where you can stick them on your coffee mug, you know, so like if you're doing hot chocolate, you can just stick the cookie there. And, you know, gingerbread, the good part of gingerbread has a lot of good nutrition. You know, there's molasses in it. That's really great for, you know, vitamin B. And then you've got all your nutmegs and your spices and all of that. And it's very hard to like adulterate a gingerbread cookie. Well, I have to say, I'm very impressed with the Trader Joe's. The ingredients are as clean as if I were to make them. And these little cookies are so good. They're so spicy. I love that. So if you guys see those, they're a worthy purchase. I know that ours, when I grabbed our one box, a lot of them were already broken, but this just reminds me of these. And so Gabriel had 1 or 2 and he was like, ooh, too spicy. But oh my gosh, they're so, so good. You're welcome. Okay. So, and Sharon has a gingerbread cookie recipe that's gluten and egg free. That's awesome. I have, most of the time when I do gingerbread, I have made our own gingerbread houses. That was like a feat. And that stuff was like concrete. So clean recipes, Susie. Oh yeah. So Jenny, you saw the CAGE. Yeah. So he's in audit. He's the little man. He can hear me, but today he was getting really upset that, he said he's always wanted, a hamster that moves. And so he's like, I keep asking Santa for a hamster that moves. And to remind him, like, well, this year's the first year you got Fluffy, the big hamster I had to heal on Friday, who, by the way, healed up very quickly. And he's back to getting into trouble upstairs with Gabriel. So I thought that was cute. But I got yesterday, I got the delivery details from the breeder. So they're flying in. They're flying in. And I'm going to pick them up on Wednesday. So cross our fingers, all goes well. They have a layover in Charlotte. So I'm hoping that that's not too traumatizing. So the things we do, but it should be fun. I've done a ton of research. Actually, both of us have. There's certain things they can eat, certain things that they can't. And I actually have a list I printed. They can eat like pecans and like nuts. And so they're going to be super healthy. So very, very excited. Donna, Lakanto monk fruit, golden. Yeah, monk fruit is a great sweetener. And Sharon's in a country town. It takes days or a week for food to be delivered. Oh, that stinks. Yeah, I've really kind of stockpiled our freezer and we're just kind of living off the freezer. I'm using my Instapot. I did this really cool Instapot soup the other day, and I have a butternut squash I'm going to break out today. So that's really fun. The Instapot's awesome. I haven't really been an Instapot user, but we actually are starting to go through the kitchen and we're going to have to start liquidating things for that remodel. That is scheduled sometime in January. We're getting details on the cabinets, and the countertop I picked out might be too soft, too fragile for the wear and tear that we might have for it. So, but it was this beautiful piece of marble that's like, it's got quartz crystals in it, and it's closer to quartzine, I think is the name of it. But so we'll see. Are those the cookies with the ginger chunks in them? I don't know about the ginger chunks, Phyllis. I usually don't get a lot of cookies at Trader Joe's. Gabriel's obsessed with the cashew yogurt. Like there's some things that like I just have to go in. I hate having to do that, but like I run in when nobody's there. We love the cashew yogurt. We love some of their dips. There's a vegan ranch dip that I picked up that we're going to try. And then I get a lot of their veggies and stuff. But honestly, Aldi still, like, price-wise, Aldi, I've been taking Aldi fresh veggies and like freezing them. Let's see, do I recommend, can you recommend teas that are good for this season of prevention? Oh yes, Monument Mom. Holy cow, I have a whole video on my top 10 teas. You know, speaking of teas, like I have a ton already here. Like I have my anti-stress tea. And then I have another stress tea, anti-stress. Are you sensing like I get stressed out over here on my workstation? Get this one, stressed out. But I have a ton of teas. Huge tea drinker. And there are a ton of awesome teas. You can see one sitting, Instagram, you can't see it, but I have a particular, the orange label tea that's underneath my white tree, which by the way, that white tree, let me show Instagram. So see that white tree over there? Underneath that little orange tea, that's my Sea Bumblebee tea, BD tea with ginger and turmeric. It's awesome. But that tree itself, those are my healthy ornaments. They're glass vegetables, fruits and vegetables. So this year I added avocado toast. And then, oh, and I also added my little good luck kitty to my work tree, that tree right there. So, but yeah, so I'm trying to think of what else. Yeah, so this week we're going to be doing, I'm going to be selling a lot of stuff on Facebook Marketplace. I'm going to be liquidating stuff. I hate that. I'm one of these people who holds on to things emotionally. I have a hard time letting go of things. So we're going to be detoxing items. I have baby stuff I'm still holding on to. Like that's not happening again. Cashew yogurt. Yeah, the cashew yogurt is amazing. Although I am hooked on the Siggy's coconut yogurt because it has this awesome consistency, just like yogurt. Where like the cashew and some of the nut ones, you kind of have to whip up. Like Gabriel says, he'll say to me, can you make it smooth? And like for him, I add the reishi mushroom collagen blend from Further Food. And by the way, if you like Further Food, you want to try it out, NHR10 is the code to get 10% off. I love them. And then I've been adding the nut butter protein from Four Sigmatic. That's been really good. But like my the cashew yogurt, I blend a whole bunch of stuff in it with Gabriel. And then, yeah, Lori, that's great. I could have had to put that on Post-it notes. Say that. Because I literally have piles as I'm getting rid of stuff. And I'm like, oh, I might wear that. Like we just finished. Brian just cleared out a box. We've been in this house since July of 2017. We've had the one box that I have not unpacked. And it had a ton of my business suits. And I mean, I would wear them like in Florida when I was speaking and stuff. But I mean, seriously, it's been years. Some of these I don't even think I had worn in like 2 moves prior to this. And Brian's like, you need to get rid of this stuff. So yeah, let that SHIT go. That is totally an awesome mantra. Okay, Emily, my 4-year-old has folliculitis again. Any recommendations? Yes, there's actually this. So apple cider vinegar, coat, kind of a swab, apple cider vinegar after washing. Enzyme, like an enzyme dense or enzyme rich cleanser. There are some really good clean cleansers like Inalea that I recommend. So I would, have it change the soap. Even a colloidal silver soap is good. Apple cider vinegar. And then there's this new serum I'm using with Gabriel. It's a moisturizer kind of serum. He's starting to get some little bumps and redness on his cheeks. He's had that since we started breastfeeding. But yeah, I will, what I'll do, Emily, I'll post a picture of that serum. It's not a serum, but it's like, it comes off like a serum. I'll post it on Instagram and I'll post a link. I think I got it on Amazon. I really like it. He likes it too. He's really weird. He's now like balking at some of the things I normally do, but he says it feels comfortable. So that's good. He even won't let me put the salts in his bath. So now he wants just total normal baths. Avocado, gluten-free toast with almond butter. Yum. Antibiotic-free, preservative-free, uncured bacon. That sounds fantastic. Pat says, we've been in our house 26 years, and I'm sure there's a box or two we've never unpacked. Yeah, and that's really, it's just crazy. I jokingly, very seriously, but there's a point in my life where I think it'd be fun to do like tiny home van lifer, but it would be really hard. I'm a consumer. I like stuff, especially shoes and slippers. Like my thing are slippers, socks, the comfy activewear in home. COVID's been great for that. I was wearing these really cute Black Friday. I got an awesome Black Friday deal at Nordstrom's, and they had these like really cute, like my logo color tie-dye like pants that were awesome, super soft. Love them. Actually, they were in my dancing video. I think I was wearing those in my reels with Gabriel, which by the way, we're going to do another one. We've had some requests for some dancing videos. Renee, let's see. Hi there. I sent a question. Are you able to see it? Never really use this feature again. Let me see. I'm looking at Renee. I don't see your question, but send it over again. Yes, I do see a lot of the comments. Oops. Let's see. I want to make sure I don't cut off this feed. Okay. So yeah, so I am going to wish all of you a happy, wonderful, bright, fabulous, and balanced winter solstice. That is today. Definitely a good energy day. Look it up. There's a lot of good energies. And, this is a good time for balance, healing. Hence, I'm getting rid of stuff today. And then obviously with the holiday coming up on Thursday evening and Friday, I hope everybody is safe and happy and finds joy in our COVID-inspired holiday and gets to connect with family in all these awesome 2020 virtual ways. And follow me on Instagram. I'll be posting our adventures here with the wood flooring install, the when they arrive, and that's Wednesday. So the 23rd, I pick them up, and then the reaction to them on the 25th. So super exciting. Jenny says, planet's best viewed half hour after sunset. I'm really hoping the weather clears. It was so bad last night. We saw nothing. We were looking for the sun, the moon, and I really want to see it. So, okay. Yeah. And I do have donation piles as well. Okay, so happy, safe holidays. I'm grateful for each and all of you. You are gifts to me and our practice here and our channel community. Pat, we love you. And Ron, I missed Ron today, but I'm so grateful for you. She sent me sweet little goodies over the weekend, and I'm grateful. I hope all of you have a wonderful Christmas And yes, healthy, whole, alive. You guys are so great. So happy holidays. And I will see you on the other side of the new year. Let's see, I think that's the 4th. So be safe, be well. And if you want to kind of catch my day-to-day activities, follow me on Instagram and also Facebook. I will be posting some video content to Facebook. I will post video content, edited content here this week to YouTube. So you guys will get some really great information that, again, keeps you healthy and well and balanced and prepped for 2021. Let's cross our fingers. 2021 turns out way better than 2020. All right, everybody. Happy, safe holidays. I'll see you guys later. Bye. Bye, YouTube. Thanks, Pat. See you guys later.